I was a certified public accountant for many years, and then I went to treatment in 1987. And after about 3 years, I had a passion for helping other people in recovery. And so I quit being a certified public accountant. I became a certified alcohol and drug counselor. I've had the privilege of working with over 6,000 dirty-faced angels, as I call them. These people say, well, what's wrong with these alcoholics and addicts? And I say nothing. They just need to clean up a little bit and quit playing in the pig pens and out of the dirt. And so I have a great passion. I believe that we were born to help one another. In fact, we're maybe the only treatment center that I know of that calls our people guests. We don't call them clients, or we don't call them patients. They're welcome guests here. And we treat those people with dignity because, as I said, I've worked with over 6,000 people. Not a single person has ever chosen to become alcohol or drug dependent. It's a genetic predisposition usually, not always, but most of the time. And people have tried everywhere in the world not to be addicted. And they've tried using willpower, they've tried using everything else to quit using, and they can't. And the reason they can't is because addiction is not about morality. Morality involves choices. If I were to be unfaithful to my wife, for example, most people would think that would be a choice that I make. And yet no alcoholic ever chose to be alcoholic. My name's Russ Hopper, and I'm a sober alcoholic with 33 years recovery. I have a passion for helping other people and changed professions some 30 years ago, and became certified by the state of Kentucky as a certified alcohol and drug counselor. And I've been named Counselor of the Year 3 times. And Vass Jackson and I, we started Quest House, or worked for a company called Quest House, and then started Quarterpoint to help people. We take everyone in. Everyone is welcome, people from all walks of life, but we sort of specialize in impaired professionals. That includes business owners, it includes their families and their employees, includes medical personnel and a whole array of healthcare professionals.
My name is Vass Jackson. I'm a licensed clinical alcohol and drug counselor in the state of Kentucky. I did undergraduate here at Western Kentucky University, so I'm a native of Bowling Green, and did medical school at St. George's University School of Medicine. I myself have 9 years of recovery and have a passion to help people get better. The last 9+ years in recovery and the prior years taught something about addiction firsthand that I would not have learned in medical school. I learned about it, but actually living through it and seeing people get better and getting better oneself helps to be able to connect with the people that are trying to get better themselves. It gives them more of a first-person experience, more personalized touch. Keeping a treatment facility such as Quarterpoint small, where we limit the number of guests to a maximum of 12, provides personalized services to the individual. Oftentimes with a larger facility, people will get lost in the numbers. They will hide from their problems because there's other people they can focus on. And here they get the person-to-person care that they really deserve.
We are not a cookie-cutter approach to treatment. Each individual is different. We do treat them with dignity, but in particular the healthcare people, they have a thing called grandiosity. They may be the greatest physician in the entire world, but lacking in relationship skills. They tend to also do most of their drinking or other drug use in private rather than out in public too. So each person comes in, they receive a 3 to 4 hour biopsychosocial evaluation to see what their particular needs. One individual may be working on childhood sexual abuse in addition to their addiction. Another one may be working on their grandiosity, that feeling that they can do anything in the whole world. After all, we've been taught we could be president or whatever, you know. And another person may work on anger issues. No guest coming in will have the same treatment programs.
We look at each individual with respect and dignity, realizing that what they've gone through in the past has been very traumatic. That's why it's so important for them to have a quiet place where they can focus on themselves so that they can heal without the other distractions going on around them. It's not uncommon for somebody that has a substance use disorder like alcoholism or addiction to focus on other things to keep themselves busy rather than focusing on themselves. Whenever they're given an environment and the guidance to grow, they oftentimes grow in ways that you cannot imagine, nor could they imagine.
My belief that if the good God were to come and visit us, he would not be a patient, he would not be a client, he would be a welcome guest. And I believe that within each of us there's that spirituality of that good God. So if God came, he'd be a welcome guest. And our people that come in, even though I call them dirty-faced angels and been playing in the mud puddle too long, they are welcome guests here. They're not bad people trying to get good. And we will teach them that as the basis of their recovery, they start with a spiritual program. There's a 2-year study that's indicated by the University of Columbia University that indicates that spirituality is the #1 item for assurance of long-term recovery. And so we've got that history. Also, when someone leaves here, we make sure that they're hooked up with a therapist, they're hooked up with recovery programs outside of here, and they're spiritual based too. We don't consider it a program of religion, but a spirituality. Each person is born spiritual. It's impossible not to be spiritual, and we take that asset and build upon that.
We start out with 28 days. That's 4-week segments, 4 weeks. They can extend that to twice that or 3 times that. What we found is the longer an individual stays in treatment, the better their chances are at long-term recovery as well. So we offer longer treatment stays. Our entire program has gone through in the 28 days and it's reinforced in the second 28 days.
We do not accept insurance for a couple of reasons. Number one, insurance limits the stay of treatment. Insurance companies dictate treatment, not the therapist. And they will looking for a term or terms called medical necessity. Once someone comes in and they're not going to die, they require them to be discharged. And we know that is not treatment. We know that does not work. We know that the insurance company's objective is to cut their cost, and we understand that. We're not knocking them. Another reason that we don't accept insurance is related to that. Insurance company says, okay, if you're going to take this person, we're going to dictate what medications you're going to give them. And some of the medications that they order us to give are contratherapeutically indicated from a therapy standpoint. And so all it is they're wanting us to give them another drug, which ends up being another candy store for the addicted person, and we're not going to participate in that. Also, we find that we will keep people here longer than even if the insurance paid for 28 days if necessary. We want to make sure that guest gets exactly what they need so that they will leave here. The insurance companies want us to cut out a path for each individual. We don't believe that's the correct approach. We believe that we work on the individual so that whatever path is thrown in front of them, they will be able to make it on that path.
The first step is identifying that there's a problem. Then they can simply reach out to us, at which point then we can do an evaluation and bring them in to see if they're a good fit for the program.
And that might be by telephone. They pick up the telephone and make that phone call. It might be because of someone recommended us to them. We are fortunate in that we have a network of therapists throughout Kentucky, Ohio, Georgia, Tennessee, etc., that have dealt with us individually before, not through Quarterpoint, but through the other organization that we founded and worked for. So it may be by email or whatever. We do have a website presence, quarterpointrecovery.com.
If you have an issue with alcohol or drugs, or have a question whether you have an issue with alcohol or drugs, we would love to have an opportunity to speak with you. Here at Quarterpoint, we can be reached at 270 870-1980. We also have a website. It is quarterpointrecovery.com.